And we're back with our final game of our Indie Mix live stream here on GameSpot. I'm joined by Mike. I'm Michael. Hi. What's up, man? You're bringing Dead Static Drive here.
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about Dead Static Drive?
Okay. So my pitch for Dead Static Drive is it's Grand Theft Cthulhu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's spooky.
Bit spooky. It's got it's a road trip through Wasteland Americana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're jacking cars.
Yep, jacking cars.
Fighting mythical beasts.
Mythical beasts. Yep. You're trying to survive. There's a lot of spooky stuff, some supernatural stuff, some terrors from outside of space and time.
Oh, okay.
And you're just trying to get by.
All right, you're getting wild with this game over here. Yeah. So I was telling Mike earlier that this game really caught my eye because of the art style and. I want to see it in action though. So if you want to get started,
get on in,
jump into it, and yeah, you can kind of like walk me through everything that's going on. Oh snap!
Oh.
Controller ain't even on. Gotta hold it a little bit.
Oh yeah. I
Okay,
know how to use this.
we're good. We good? There we go.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Cool. So So this is how it starts out. It's like a top-down, isometric in a way. Almost reminds me of like old school Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, mechanically, what am I working with here?
Right, so this is tank controls kind of.
Okay.
It's top-down view, and you can drive your vehicle by steering with the stick. You pull the trigger to drive. So I love this kind of micro machines, old school isometric racing games.
Okay.
Been a huge fan of them for years, and so as soon as Unreal 4 came out, I was like, man, I'm gonna make a game where you can just drive a car top down. I love them.
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of time trying to make a good feeling driving game. And then I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna make this bigger than that. I've always wanted to make a horror game.
Oh, doing some sick tricks.
Oh yeah, doing some sick tricks. Getting eaten by some giant worms here. So I focused on trying to make a game that just had everything that I've always dreamt of. Like a horror adventure game that was also like a little bit moody and a little bit artistic. And that's what I've always wanted.
Yeah.
So it's turned into a survival game. Oh.
Okay, yeah. So like from its very foundation, how is this game built and what is the player trying to accomplish? Right.
Here? So it's kind of like an anti-roguelike. I've been making roguelikes for years, and I used to make them back when they were like mostly text-based, and I love them to death. I love a game that I can just play that has a lot of deep mechanics that I can just kind of. I'm just gonna sneak away from this thing. I love a game with like deep mechanics, like a Metal Gear Solid, right? Where it's a playground first and foremost, and you can just really explore and see the interactions of different systems. So I've been trying to make this game as deep as I can, add as many layers as I can that interact with each other. So you can sneak, you can use your flashlight. Your flashlight attracts monsters, but it also hurts monsters, and the humans in the game, there's survivors, and you can take them with you, but they also are not always trustworthy. And so determining if you can trust them or not is not just are they a bad person, but also are they infected by something. Okay. I'm just trying to layer as many systems as I can to make it really exciting.
Does it ever get like too overwhelming though? Because do you ever feel like you get carried away?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And because for so much of the development, I've been a one-man team. It really seems like I need to keep that limited, but thankfully, it's not a one-man job anymore, and I have a great team behind me who can support me. Some artists, some animators, game designers, and now, hopefully, it will be as good a game as I've ever wanted to make.
Cool. So I imagine there's also a lot of environmental interaction.
Yes.
Picking up stuff, using it to an effective way you can think possible.
Yep. So there's an inventory. You can collect items to help your survival, and it's also because it's a road trip game. A lot of the survival items are themed around road trips, so you need to
stopping at a diner.
Stop at a diner. Yep. Get a milkshake. I got a cherry pie over here, and I'll eat some pie.
Jeez, you ate the whole thing.
Ate the whole thing. Yes.
Damn, man.
And it's also like I've spent a lot of time on the road trying to make this game, and so for me, stopping in a motel and taking your luggage around.
Constant inspiration.
Yeah. It's constant. I'm constantly thinking about that. So I've actually got support for carrying multiple bags. You can actually carry luggage around with you. So here, I'll grab a suitcase, and so you can. you can make a huge inventory for your character. You can carry like a suitcase in each hand or backpacks and one on your back. But each time you take one, it takes up one of your inventory
Yeah, it's like
slots.
you're limiting yourself. So there's a resource management element that you have to constantly think about.
Exactly, yeah. And if you want to have a rifle, then you can't have items in both hands, and so it's all balancing. It's all a balancing act.
Okay. Yes. I was gonna ask like what kind of systems are you managing though? Like is there like hunger, thirst, stuff like that? Okay,
there is.
cool.
So there's hunger, there's thirst, there's your bladder, so you can pee. The more coffee you drink, the more you need to pee.
I know all about that.
And there's a stamina system as well. You can see in the top left, we've got health and we've got stamina.
Okay.
Now the stamina actually it recharges when you rest. So you can drive only for a limited amount of time.
Oh, okay.
And time progresses naturally just as you play. So every 2 minutes, an hour goes by, and it goes further through the game. Eventually, once you've driven a lot, or once you've played and in combat a lot, you'll get tired, and you'll
have to stop somewhere.
Yeah, because your stamina will go all the way down. You won't be able to attack monsters. You won't really be able to take care of yourself. And so managing your bladder, your hunger, your not sanity. I don't want to put sanity in the game, but like your character's
general well-being.
General well-being. That's a good way to say it. Yeah. And you also need to manage your fuel.
Okay, yeah, I was noticing that. When you hopped into the car, you got the fuel gauge there, so.
Exactly, yeah. So we can refuel if you find a fuel pump. You also can just steal a car.
Jeez.
Yeah. So each car has a different amount of fuel and different health bars as well, but they also have different performance characteristics.
Okay. Yeah.
So how quickly they accelerate.
That's a pretty sweet van, man. You're whipping that thing around like it's nothing. All right, there you go.
I know how to drive. Yeah. And there's police cars as well. That Oh
snap! You ran yourself over.
I ran myself over. Okay, so
damn.
I'll restart here.
Man, yeah, that's crazy, man. I had a friend who ran over his toe, and he was out for about 3 months.
Oh, yeah, you do not want that.
Yeah, we were real quick. We were in ROTC, and we're gonna have a competition next month. So we were ghost riding the whip, and we had, and then the car just like ran over his foot. Thankfully, that was the extent of the damage, but yes, it can kill you in this game. So
yes, indeed it can. Yeah.
Are there any like consequences to like stealing cars, stealing resources?
Yes.
Does it factors into like social standing with other NPCs?
It does. Yeah. Well, actually, every vehicle that gets spawned belongs to a single NPC.
Okay.
And there are some NPCs that get spawned randomly, but every time they get spawned with a car, and they have the keys to the car in their pockets. So if you want, you can actually, I'll come sneak in here into the diner and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't think these NPCs have them for the demo, but you can pickpocket
them right in front of their face.
Right in front of him, I know, exactly. He can't see. It's like Oblivion rules. And,
as long as your stats are good enough.
Exactly. As long as you get the little eye closing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pickpocket any NPC you want. You can steal their hats right off their head, or you can give them items as well. You can kind of put a hand grenade in their pocket if you want.
Oh, geez, that's savage.
Yeah, but you can also steal the keys for their car and then just get out of here.
Yeah.
But if you get caught being violent with NPCs, then they will become angry. And each major NPC, we have like hero NPCs, they have their own storylines, and you can't really progress their storylines if you're
stealing their shit.
If you're stealing their shit, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about like reputation. So like, because like thematically, and of course in horror games, like you have to think about like social standing, and do I want to survive? Do I want to help people? So I imagine that's also gonna factor into some of the things here in Dead Static Drive.
Yep. And so we have an arc, a game arc, and so it begins the game. You're actually on the run from the law, and as the game progresses, it becomes increasingly the police become less of a threat, and monsters become much more of a threat as the game progresses. So let me just grab this.
Yeah. So I was going to ask about like enemy types and the kinds of combat encounters that you will see. I know we've seen a lot of these worms that kind of spring off the ground a lot.
Yes. Right, so I have a number of different types of enemies. Let's see, I think there's a giant spider over here. these are demo enemies, just so that I can show as many off it in a small space as possible.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the way the full game works is there's an ecology to every single creature in the game, and I've been inspired by zombies. Not by actually, I don't want to put any zombies in the game at all. But what I love about horror, the zombie design, is that they have this fantastic set of rules for how zombies actually behave. And if you get bitten by a zombie, then after 24 hours maybe, you turn. Okay. So you don't want to get bitten. So just a single scrape by a zombie is really threatening. I love that, and it makes them far more threatening than they would be if they were.
Right,
You know,
they're
if
much
they were
more
just
of a
like
threat
a
than
wolf, for example.
Yeah,
right?
they're like not just like dealing with them in particular, but the lasting impacts of the encounter that you have with them.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, if you meet a random character in a zombie movie, for example, they may have been bitten by a zombie, so you may need to check to see if they're infected.
Okay.
So I think that finding ways to make. I'm going to try to see if I can.
Oh damn! I didn't know you can scale
Yep.
geometry and stuff.
Yep, yeah. So there's hidden stuff throughout the
sweet.
game. There's caches where survivors have placed items, and there's also multi-level buildings throughout the game, and basements and caves.
Cool.
So but I want every monster type to have its own ecology that takes time to learn and that actually can really mess you up. So enemies who can poison you, who can poison your any hitchhikers or any companions you've taken with you. So you can't necessarily
trust everyone.
Everyone, yeah. You can't trust all the people who you're playing with.
Yeah.
I think it makes the experience just so much more fulfilling.
Right.
Let me see if I can go over here and get some gas for this.
So to take a step back, in this game, there's survival elements. There's a lot of interaction with other people, NPCs that is. But what is the end goal?
Yes. Now, the end goal, I'm working with a really fantastic narrative designer right now, and we are retooling the end goal. So I can't disclose that right now, but it's far more interesting than it previously was.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But the overall premise
But
is
the overall premise is
we're going on a road trip.
We're going on a road trip
Somewhere.
And, things change. Yeah, your
Okay.
goals change pretty quickly on the road
really?
trip. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. So it becomes the basic thing that's remaining is that you've got a limited amount of time before everything's going to hell. And it's what do you want to do with your last
Limited
days?
amount of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And so
from the start, that is. Like,
yeah. So there's the game has. So I said it was an anti-roguelike. The game doesn't. It's not focused on procedural world. It does have procedural world in it as well, but it's focusing more on procedural story. So the narrative changes as you play. If you're in a town when an NPC is there, then you can interact with them. But if you're not there, then their story will progress and they'll have their experience, they'll move forwards and they'll branch and they'll have different stories. So if you choose not to save someone, or if you're not in the right location, you're not around, they have their own lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's intended to be replayed and intended to be really...
And you get different results, different
yes.
consequences to different actions, of course.
You do,
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, how hard is it to... I know you said you're working with a distinct narrative designer, but in terms of like... I asked this earlier with Project Witchstone, is like, when you have all these variables, how do you contain it? How do you contain yourself? And like, I asked you about not getting carried away by like throwing a bunch of stuff in there, but narratively, I imagine it's a different beast to handle.
It's really tricky to make sure that, I want to make sure that there's lots of interest in the stories and that there's a lot of variety in them, but no, I want to put in as much content as I can and come back and make sure I have time to polish it. No, I don't. I'll tell you when the game comes out.
All right, sure.
That'll be my post-mortem.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Is there more combat encounters we can get into? I want to see
Let's have a look.
if that's possible.
All right, let's get in here. Okay.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well,
okay.
that escalated quickly.
All right, let's get away. I'll see. I can try running this guy down. Oh.
Oh,
yeah, nice.
Yeah, there you go. Take his legs out.
Yep, yeah. So there's a definite focus on larger creatures as well because I find it far more exciting to have combat encounters with large creatures. But these creatures here have their own ecology. These start off as NPCs in the game, and they kind of become corrupted.
Oh my god, it's like a bee spider with an electric stinger.
Yep. Yeah, let
Jeez,
me see.
man.
Can I kick him? Okay, that didn't work. All right. Let's get some pistol. Oh. And the monsters themselves, they each have their own kind of allegiance to their friends and family, but they can fight each other too.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, they're not part of the same team. Oh,
damn. We got shut down.
Oh.
Rip.
It's over. Okay, nighttime. Let's go.
Yeah, like I want to ask also about difficulty and how progress carries over from maybe one death to another. Like, what do you lose when you die? Like, it's all one continuous thing, right? It's not.
Yes.
It's
exactly.
not like I'm gonna start over, have to redo my whole journey.
No.
Like you said, it's not roguelike.
What happens is the game it progresses when you die. So when you die, you have to recover, and it's a fixed amount of time.
Oh,
so here
so
I've
it
been
takes
dying.
time when you
it takes
when
time
you
when you
die.
die. So if the game takes a month, at the moment the plan is for a month, and it's working quite well.
Yeah.
A month of in-game time. Then you lose 8 hours when you die, and so you want to minimize the number of times you die. The faster you get to the end, the faster you can start again and hopefully have a better playthrough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's how it's presently working. I don't know if that's too hardcore for some people, because I want this to be a game that all of my friends who aren't really into games can also enjoy. So I don't want to make like a game that is
Impenetrable.
impenetrable. Yeah, exactly. That excludes people. I want it to be inclusive, and I want it to be something that people can play without really necessarily loving playing combat games.
Right.
So finding that balance is actually really tricky. I'm trying to make a game that someone who loves narrative games might want to play, because many of the people who come past me at PAX, for example, they'll be like, "Look, it looks gorgeous," but I'm a little bit intimidated to play it.
Yeah, it's a thing too of like survival games by nature are somewhat impenetrable. Like if like for example something like I almost think of like State of Decay in a way when I'm seeing this, because of like interactions with NPCs, how you manage them, and also just like the survival elements, of course.
Yes.
But something like that is very hard to like hand over the controller and say, all right, your turn, like, or you give this a shot. It's yeah, that's kind of hard to ask. So I guess like how do you overcome that by because you, like you said, you want to throw in as many systems as possible, but you also don't want to make them like absolutely necessary. So it's like, oh, if I don't understand this, like how this is gonna work, then shit, I can't play this game.
I know, I agree. Like if I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2, for example, which is the one I love the most.
Okay.
And you've got, you can shoot watermelons off a table, right?
Yeah.
But that's you never have to master that to finish the game.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can also hold up guards and you can take their dog tags.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do that to finish the game. I actually completed the game too afraid of holding anyone up, so I just killed them.
Oh, jeez, you're a savage.
Yeah, I was really savage. Yeah, and then everyone was saying how cool it would be to finish the game as a stealth run. And I was like, oh, you know what? I don't think that I have it in me to do that.
Oh man, I always do non-lethal. Anytime
really?
I play, anytime I play a style of that game like MGS. Well, I mean, depends, because they force you into combat encounters at some points, but like my trank gun. So it's my trusty trank gun.
Your trank gun?
CQC is where it's at. We've actually been playing the Metal Gear series in our with Spacey we're waiting at. After work, sometimes we just get together. We play through Twin Snakes. We're currently on MGS2, but when we transition to Snake Eater, I'm taking the reins on that one because I love Snake Eater.
Oh my god, yeah.
Didn't mean to turn this into a MGS discussion.
Any day I will talk about MGS.
Oh man.
Yep. Yeah, all right, let's go. So I want to make it so that there's a lot of depth, right? But if you want to play this game as just someone who's scared, as a real horror experience, and you can not pick up a weapon and just sneak through the whole game.
Yeah, just like
and
talk to people, take cars, and if you see enemies, like drive past them.
Yeah, and that's a viable way to finish the game.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a combat game, but I love, I'm a massive Souls fan, and I've nearly platinum Dark Souls 3, which is the most painful experience in my life.
More than what most of us can say. Hey, shouts out to Eric Tay once again. The man who loves those style of games. He's a low-key, just loves games that just beat him to death. So, oh man. Well then, I guess natural question out of that is, how do you make combat like a necessary thing, or how do you pull someone into combat scenarios? Is like, will there be situations in which the only way to get out of this is to fight?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't want to have situations where the only way to get out is to fight.
Like a certain thing.
But I want it to always be there's a trade-off. So
Okay,
you know,
yeah. So
listen,
then I would ask, like, what is the trade-off?
So the trade-off will be if I pull up to a bowling alley, I go inside, it's dark, I see some eyes appear in the darkness, and I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can get out. But what's behind those eyes, right? And if you want to actually sneak past or risk it, risk the possibility of being killed, of having to drag yourself into an alley and rest. I want that to be a real, like, am I willing to do that? And if people don't want to do that, I want that to be okay. Yeah. And they can just play, but that'll be more of a surface level of the game. They'll be able to enjoy the experience, the driving, the aesthetic. And then people who want to finish the game in a combat-focused way, they can play it that way as well.
Okay. And I imagine the story will play out differently,
very
depending
differently depending. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Sweet, man. Well, I think that I actually have no idea how long we've been going. Jean-Luc, Eric, if you could tell me if we're running out of time here, but I think that, unless there's, is there anything else you want to say about Dead Static Drive?
Thank you. I've had a great chance to show it off.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
It's there's like so many different independent games that I absolutely want to see and want to show off because I know how much love and care a lot of these developers put into this. So for them to roll by and kind of play it and talk us through what's going on is it's a real pleasure of mine. So it's been great. All right, I think that'll do it for our quick little playthrough of the Dead Static Drive demo. Mike, thank you so much for joining me, dude.
Absolute pleasure.
I appreciate that. And also, I said this was our last game for the live stream, but we do have one more thing that we want to do. So we're going to cut to a break, but I want all of you watching to stick around because we have a special message from the folks who get the Indie Exchange up and running each GDC. So see you in a minute.